If you ain't playing, I'm still too. If you ain't playing, I'm still too.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Manny Reacts. I am Manny, and today I'll be reacting to Mrs. Potato Head by Melanie Martinez, the official music video. Okay. I think I know where we're going here. The narrator to the commercial just said, "A simple pill will turn you into a man magnet." And so I think this music video, this song, will address patriarchy in the 20th century. Well, let me not make rush to assumptions. Where essentially this is a reference to patriarchy and how it functioned in the 20th century when women were essentially like completely domesticated and kept from joining the workforce by men. And as a result, you had millions of women all over the US going through cycles of severe depression, severe emotional withdrawal, severe anxiety. And at this time, psychology's answer to that problem, which again was not necessarily, it was not self-induced. It was induced by patriarchy, but mental health clinicians, their answer to that problem was, hey, just pop pills. Pop pills to re-regulate, to regulate your emotions. And of course, like, pills are not the answer to dismantling patriarchy, right? But let's see. Oh shit, I think she's also touching on intersectionality right now as well. Fuck, this shit is so complex. Whereas you have this black woman who she has beautiful hair. With that said, in society, the gold standard for beauty has historically been whiteness, or so that's what whiteness thinks. They think they're the most beautiful people on earth, and everybody else is just fucking dirty scoundrels. That's why they, colonize the countries we come from and rape our women. That's why, because they think we're ugly and they're so beautiful, right? What a contradiction. But that's racism in a nutshell, a big ass contradiction. They love us to the extent that they can exploit us and take our resources, but and yet they still hate us. And the same thing is true with women. Men, misogynistic men, love women to the extent that they can use them as objects for sexual pleasure. But when it comes to, incorporating them into society as equals, well, then not so much. Like, we actually, they actually hate you. The men do. So, yeah, it's fascinating what's going on here right now. And another thing that Melanie Martinez has touched on in previous videos is that there's no way to appease the male ego. It's like a bottomless pit. There's always an insatiable desire that you can never fulfill, nor should you try to. But she said that in her previous videos, like, no matter how much makeup you put on, no matter how many surgeries you do, men will still not respect you. And I think that's where she gets a sorry, I know we haven't even gotten to the fucking music video, Manny. Come on, play it. But no, I think that's where she draws a lot of inspiration for the notion of self-empowerment. The idea that you will never be worthy in a man's eyes. You will never be valued as a full and complex human being in a man's eyes, and therefore you must value yourself, therefore you must embrace yourself as a full and complex human being who's capable of love and being loved, and who's we'll get to the video. Talking too much. Ah. She doesn't think she's pretty enough. She's insecure. See, man, and it's sad because a lot of women, they don't. Let me figure out how to phrase this. They don't. I don't think they truly. Maybe they think they, but they don't truly understand how dark the male psyche is, and how deeply woven misogyny is in not just in our society through our structures and institutions, but also through our psychology as we are socialized even as like kids, to like value masculinity more than we do femininity, to value men more than we do women, to associate certain traits with women that we don't associate with men, right? So things like compassion, empathy, vulnerability, sensitivity, we associate those things with women who have negative connotations in our mind because they're women. And then from there, we make another inference, which is that since those qualities are associated with women, therefore those qualities are also negative and useless, which again is a fucking lie. But ideologies like this are what produce toxic masculinity. They produce it and they reproduce it. Because the antithesis to compassion, sensitivity, empathy, and vulnerability are aggression, hostility, apathy, the inability to relate to another human being on an emotional level, so narcissism. And these are traits that society celebrates. These are the masculine traits that these motherfuckers will have you out here thinking are what you should aspire to. That's that's how fucking dark it is in the mind of a man, and I know you're probably like, shit, like, when are you gonna like acknowledge the fact that you're a man and you're kind of spilling the beans right now, and that you play a role in perpetuating this vicious cycle? And I do, either directly or indirectly. I would hope that with education over the past however long I've been educated on issues pertaining to race, gender, and ethnicity, topics that I've studied for a very long time in the academy. Well, very long time is relative, but I've studied them and written papers on them, published papers on them, and you know, they that process, the process of understanding intellectually, like the dynamics at play that like keep women oppressed. Like, I saw a lot of myself in those systems and in that data, and so it forced me to reevaluate a lot of my beliefs and presuppositions, because I realized very early on that it was all fucking garbage. That people in power, whatever the group is, their intent is often to convince the subordinate group that they are less than, that they are less beautiful, that they are less moral, that they are less intelligent. Because once you steal their self-confidence, once you steal their self-esteem, once you steal their self-worth, it becomes much easier to control them. But going back to my own privilege and how that plays a role, I mean, dude, like, granted, I'm not privilege in other ways, but you know, the male privilege is something I don't deserve, right? It's something that I was just born with. And I'm pretty sure that's allowed me to infiltrate certain circles and you know, get further in my life, whereas for women there would be a roadblock. So that's my 2 cents about my privilege, and my goal or my objective, knowing that I have that privilege, is to kind of share it. I think the best way to check your privilege or to get rid of it is by sharing it with others. So that means, yeah. Well, this is not what this video is about. Let's listen to the fucking song. Come on, Manny. Not time to intellectualize this shit. Listen to the song. People don't want to hear you talk. Oh, she's beautiful.
If you weren't born with it, you can buy a couple ornaments.
Yeah, I mean, even, and people don't pick up on it, but you know, psychology is also something I studied for a while. So even this, like, what seems like a harmless interaction, like the way he dips in, the way he tells her to like come forward and like kiss him on the cheek instead of like kissing her on the cheek. I mean, it's, you know, you might think it's like harmless, but even like little shit like that is like it tells a bigger story about how women always have to go the extra mile in order to appease the male ego and massage the male ego, which is extremely vulnerable and subject to being shattered at any moment. I mean, you see it now. All these fucking dudes, they stay complaining about fucking, you know, feminists, feminazis, and PC culture, and it's like, and how, you know, they always complain, the women always yo, you're the biggest bitch, bro. Like, you're the one who's always complaining about them always complaining. At least they have a valid reason to complain. They're complaining because, motherfucker, you got something you didn't deserve. You're being treated better in society. You're getting these opportunities, and you didn't deserve that shit. And she has to work 3 times as hard to get to where you're at. And so, and sometimes working 3 times as hard doesn't even get her to where you're at. So, you know, I hate hearing dudes complain about that, about fucking feminism. Like, shut the fuck up. Just be honest about it. You don't want women to have as much power as you. You wanna continue to tell yourself you're superior, because in all reality, your conception of self is predicated on the subjugation of others. So if you're not subjugating them, you don't know who the fuck you are. You have no identity. You have no purpose in this universe. You know, that's my take on it.
If you weren't born with it, you can buy a couple ornaments. Just be sure to read them.
Fucking deep. If you weren't born with it, you could buy a couple ornaments. If you weren't born with the physical attributes that you know, are attractive to men, at least in the West, then you could buy ornaments. She calls them ornaments. So she's really speaking to the objectification of the female body.
Warning kids, 'cause pretty soon you'll be bored of it. Ha ha, sexual. Hey girl, if you wanna feel sexual, you can always call up a professional. They stick pins in you like a vegetable. Ha ha, kids forever. Baby soft skin turns into leather. Don't be dramatic, it's only some plastic. No one will.
The gaslighting. That's another thing, you know, women who don't and you know, I don't want to hear from the fucking men in the comments, because I've gotten this shit too. Oh, stop simping. Okay, motherfucker, just because I don't have a personality of a log and my conception of these issues has far greater depth than yours doesn't mean I'm simping, you know. So how's this for toxic masculinity? The dudes who have something to say in my comments suck a dick. How about that? But anyways, what was I gonna say?
It's only some plastic. No one will love you if you're on the track.
Yeah. The gaslighting, it's just like, it's only plastic. It's only, it's not a big deal. Just go and get this procedure to make yourself feel better, to make your man happy. And it's like, that is a form of gaslighting, because those procedures are serious, and they are body altering. In some ways they can be life altering, and in many ways they alter your self-esteem and your ego. Yeah, and they make you, it gives you the illusion that you can purchase happiness, that you can purchase fulfillment, that you can purchase self-esteem, self-confidence, when we know that you can't.
Kids forever, baby soft skin turns into leather. Don't be dramatic, it's only some plastic. No one will love you if you're unattractive. Oh, Mrs. Potato, they tell me, is it true that pain is beauty? Does a new face come with a warranty? Will a pretty face make it better? Oh, Mr. Potato, they tell me, how did you afford this surgery? Do you swear you'll stay forever? Even if our face don't stay together. Even if our face don't stay together. If you want a little more confidence, potatoes turn to french fries, yeah, it's common sense. All you need's a couple more condiments and $100,000 for some compliments. Ha ha, it's such a waste when little girls grow into their mother's face.
Ooh, wow. And this is what great artists do, man. I think Montaigne said it, that artists are at the vanguard of the human species. I mean, they point out uncomfortable truths that oftentimes we don't want to hear. And one of those truths is, it revolves around the ways in which patriarchy is reproduced intergenerationally, which is to say, oftentimes mothers were taught by their mothers that, their purpose in life, their goal in life, is to please the man that they're with. And so they end up giving birth to daughters and raising them that same way. And then when the daughters kind of, disagree or see something suspicious about it, they're often ostracized and seen as problem children, because they just won't conform, they won't fit in. You need to fit in, you need to do what I did and what your grandmother did and what her grandmother did. Just fit in, don't cause a ruckus.
And pucker up their lips until they suffocate. Ha ha, kids forever. Baby soft skin turns into leather. Don't be dramatic, it's only some plastic. No one will love you if you're unattractive. Oh, Mrs. Potato, they tell me, is it true that pain is beauty? Does a new face come with a warranty? Will a pretty face make it better? Oh, Mr. Potato, they tell me,
Fuck, man.
how did you afford this surgery? Do you swear you'll stay forever? Even if your face don't stay together. Stay forever, stay forever. Even if our face don't stay together. Stay forever, stay forever. Even if our face don't stay together. Oh, Mrs. Potato, it tell me, is it true that pain is beauty? Does a new face come with a warranty? Will a pretty face make it better? Oh, Mr. Potato, it tell me.
He wasn't satisfied, and that's the truth, man. You're never gonna, again, egos are not meant to be satisfied. They're meant to be regulated. You cannot satisfy the male ego. It wants what it wants, and what it wants is superficiality. It functions in a way that requires instant gratification, and that instant gratification, obviously it comes at the expense of females who end up buying into the the white gaze.
How did you afford this surgery. Do you swear you'll stay forever? Even
And
if it
she's still trying, but you know, she's still not happy with herself, man. So she has essentially mutilated, distorted, and disfigured her face, and it looks like she's um in her mind she's transformed into someone she doesn't even recognize anymore, because her identity in the first place was never hers. It was tied to um what her husband's like need, what her husband's wants were, you know. um
don't stay together, stay forever, stay forever. Even if our face don't stay together, stay forever, stay forever. Even if our face don't stay together, stay forever, stay forever. Even if our face don't stay together, stay forever, stay forever. Even if our face don't stay together.
Fuck. Man, man. I could spend hours and hours like breaking down this music video, but I know we don't have that kind of time. So, hey, I can't use the word enjoyed, but if this reaction video resonated with you and you were able to take something meaningful away from it, please hit the thumbs up button, comment or subscribe. Let me know if there are any other music videos that you want me to react to. All right. So with that said, be safe, be easy, and take care of yourself.